Ladies and gentlemen, Minneapolis is devolving into a cesspool of crime. And by that, I mean it did that in the mid to late 90s. Which is true. It was back when Uptown was actually cool. Murderapolis. We were all very proud of that.
Oh, yeah.
Derek remembers. I remember every phase of Uptown. I remember it being like my parents would take me as a kid because they needed to they wanted to go to something cool there, and they were sketched out, and we were trailer trash and they were sketched out. So I'm just like, oh my god, and they were like whatever. And then in the mid 90s, it started getting cool. But it was cool with a seedy underbelly. It's like the Times Square, it was fun when it was all porno theaters. And then there was artsy things, and whatever. But you still a pimp might stab you or whatever.
Oh yeah,
that still might be a thing.
Yep.
And now
French Meadow.
Yeah, gentrified. By the way, I have a really funny story about the French Meadow. But this is how this podcast is gonna go. Well, this is Derek Zubich, by the way, a coworker of mine in a really interesting way where, I mean, we're kind of in separate divisions, but are we? I don't know. Derek blows glass, and Chris, who I was in Blue Felix with, Exhale, also does. But Derek is another person who does that exact thing at the same place where I work. We're one big, weird family of artists that somehow have 401ks and health insurance, and it's just confusing, and wear tank tops with swear words on them to work. And oh yeah, that was the thing we invented today, by the way, because every day is kind of Casual Friday, so Casual Friday doesn't work, so we invented Non-Functional Friday.
Oh yeah.
Where you take a life ruining dab at 11:30 a.m. In the break area.
Yes, that was.
But then continue to work.
I did. I got a lot of work done in a very short amount of time.
It helps. If you're afraid to talk to other people, you can really put your head down and focus on what you're doing.
I mean, if you just fucking rush in, go inward after that, go as in as you can go.
And I mean, you're a professional, and I watched you breathe in and exhale 4 different times. You would have needed 8 lungs to do that all at once.
That was definitely not many other days in the week do I do that. Friday, it's
yeah, that's fair. And our other coworker Ty was it was a rare thing when he actually looked shocked and afraid when you were doing. You're
when I see him whoa, then I'm like, all right, what? I mean, it looked like a normal sized dab. I mean, what?
It just was the gift that kept on giving.
It did.
It did for
5 fucking hours.
Well, just even in that moment, every time you breathed in, I was it didn't get any more clear.
No,
it just was there's still all the smoke in the world is just still in that thing.
Yes.
And you were giving it CPR, more than you were just.
I mean, waste not, want not.
No, you got it. You got it all out of there. I mean, you've done your duty. But
yes.
So anyway, non-functional Friday. Where are we going here? Oh yeah, Uptown back in the day and everything. See, now the thing is Uptown post-pandemic, post-George Floyd got a little bit more rough and weird and fucked up, but it was mostly getting really gentrified. Before that, by in the 2000s, 17s, 19, even 2011 or 12 or 13, when I actually lived in an apartment there, which I shudder to think how much that apartment cost, because it was actually kind of cool. It was one of those old building, hardwood floors. The door comes into the living room and it's long, it goes past the kitchen. It goes past a hallway. There's a little sitting area, dining room on the other side of the kitchen, hallway, bathroom, all the way to a bedroom and back. One of those long ones.
Yeah.
That's how they have. Yeah. And that place in 2011, 12, whatever, in Uptown, in 33rd and not Bryant, Pillsbury, I don't know, wherever we were. It was a cool-ish part of Uptown. It was $600 and something a month, not a piece, but split between us. Me and a girlfriend back then. That place, if it's still standing, has to be more than the mortgage on my house right now, which isn't terrible. because I got locked in at 3%. But it was getting gentrified back. Oh yeah, like it it costs like 13 something a month split between my wife and I to live here, and like, but that apartment is probably way more than that if it's still there. It's probably obscene. But it was in that weird time when it was like, oh, the building's kind of old, and there's hardwood floors; those are hard to take care of. There's not cool carpeting in it when people didn't have any idea like what they were sitting on,
Right.
And like we had skeezy neighbors, like the lady that like ran, like the property manager or whatever, had like ugly little star neck tattoos, which are pretty big meth things, and she was like an artist and really skinny and just was like, hey guys, ah! And I'm like, okay, so like our fucking whatever is a drug addict, and that's fun. She's up late. I could always get a hold of her, which is great. But yeah, like it was getting to be, though, there were my girlfriend at the time, I was no longer concerned for her safety because of some sort of like graffiti mugging element. At that time, I was starting to be like, white guys in white hats are like yelling at her on the street. I'm like, is this turning into this here? There's just T-Mobile stores and date rape. Like, that's what Uptown is now. Like, instead of drive-bys and fucking loud parties and music, like, which arguably maybe is better. Now it's kind of squatting and tents on the sidewalk, but that's a lot of places. Of course, that's starting to change a little too. It's weird how malleable some of these areas are, where you're like, is this hip? Is it terrifying? Is it rich? Is it poor? What is it?
That area, at least, like between Franklin and Lyndale, or Franklin and Lake.
Yeah.
On Lyndale, where there was a company I used to work for that still has a store there. Not the same.
Which is very near.
Not the same company, but same name still.
Really, I didn't know that it was like a in name only transfer. Honestly, for what we're about to talk about here.
Yes.
By the way, this whole area, just real quick, is right by Mortimer's, where my buddy Sidney Uxborough has a funny comedy mic called, it used to be called Think Fast, now Sudden Death, where you go and other comics pick premises for you, and they go on a projector screen, and you have to like think of something stupid about it real quick. And that's how we kind of got to be friends. And Morgan would do it a lot too, who has co-hosted. And Mortimer's has music and things and whatever. But yeah, that is like literally on the same street.
Yeah. So that back in when I worked for them.
Clown Glass, by the way.
Yes.
Everybody knows what's down the street from Mortimer. With frowned ass.
When
I guess.
When I worked there, and it was, 90s.
Yeah.
90s, much after that, but, so, we'll call it, early 2000s. The rent there was, $4,500 a month.
For that whole ass, because I've been in there.
For, just that little part of,
wow.
Man, that's, I'm sure those numbers
it has to be
are long gone.
Yeah, now.
It's got to be $10,000.
Easy. Yeah. For like a business rent in that area. Well, that like that area too. Another fun fact. I used to old guitar player for SMB, not Blue Felix Turf. He lived on like 26th and Harriet or something. If you were to park on his street right out in front of the building he lived on, you could easily walk to Mortimer's, and a little farther you go to Hums or Red Dragon or Clown Glass. Yeah. But that couple of square blocks is the most populated area in the entire state of Minnesota.
Holy shit.
The most people live and work and whatever there. That little spot. You remember, like, parking's a goddamn bitch around here. Well, it was at least like 5-6 years ago. I know that. Who knows post-pandemic. Damn. Everything's different. Time is meaningless. Whatever. But like it was at the very least whenever I'd go over there and we'd like try to record something and it'd be like, oh, it's like winter, so it's like half the street you can't even park on because of plowing. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't have a car, and it's like that's why everyone has to give you a ride. You're such an asshole.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm a no car guy because I live in Uptown. By the way, can you give me a ride to the grocery store? I'm like, oh my God.
New York City, you can get away with that.
Yeah, we don't
You
have...
can get away with that. That city is huge. You can get away with
Well,
not having a car.
also, walking around in any part of New York, not even just Manhattan, like the other boroughs and stuff, it's like Ninja Turtles. Like you go a couple of blocks in any direction,
Right.
and you see this weird little stairway that goes down by like a building. It goes to the subway.
Yep.
You can just go anywhere. It's actually fucking really cool. I wish that we just had something like that, but it's just infrastructure that was built so long ago in New York. But yeah, the few times I've been there to like play shows or whatever, we just station our equipment wherever that's going to be, and then then we have some like a time to kill. It's like, oh, like what's this little like walkway? It's like, oh, it goes down to where you can just get on a train where for $2 you can go like anywhere. All the way across anything.
Yeah.
You go almost to fucking New Jersey. Yeah. Like, oh, I want to go see Buddy's Bakery. I want to go see the Statue of Liberty. I want to go see in 2007 the big hole in the ground where like eventually they're going to put a new building where the Twin Towers were or whatever. I guess they built the Freedom Tower finally or whatever. But like, I remember being there and being like, really? 7-8 years and it's still a hole.
Yeah, just
they were right to attack this country. We're a joke. It's like I would have had something really. I would have just built a giant dick there. Like 1 year later, I would have hired every mobbed up ass concrete and construction guys. Like build me a penis that's 3 times bigger than those towers put together. That is what I want. That is how the terrorists lose.
That's the new Statue of Liberty.
Yep. Just a big fucking veiny cock with a laser coming out of it like the Luxor in Vegas.
Not
just
from France, built right here.
Yeah. Yeah, just the American fuck you dick. And that's what it would be called, just on a thing. It's like, that's not even a very good English sentence. It's like, well, we're a country of immigrants, so that's what we're doing. This is called the American fuck you dick. And it's like, I'm not like a big super patriotic guy, but it's like, look, if I was in charge, like, hey, John, you're the mayor of New York. What should we do? I'm like, I don't say less right now, fam. I have an idea. And it's going to be like.
When people look at New York, they you look at pictures of New York and it's very, it's the Twin Towers, or at least
very iconically,
or it's the Statue of Liberty.
In Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, the NES game, when you're riding your bike and your guy, like there, you went by, you saw the Twin Towers there, and you were like, oh my god, they knew all along. But no, they're so ominous and old things. And my favorite thing is the from all the Simpsons predicted it things. There's an episode where they go to New York or whatever, and Homer hates it because he got chased by a pimp or something, and whatever. But in that episode, and this is pre 9/11, Bart holds up a pamphlet. I was trying to set it up as a clip. It's just one of my favorite famous eerie things. And Bart goes, "Hey, tickets to Dad, we could go to New York to get your impounded car. Tickets are only $9. And he holds up this thing, and it says $9, visit New York. And the Twin Towers are behind the big $9 thing, so it looks like 9/11. He's like, see? And it just hangs on the screen for a weirdly long time. I'm like, okay, something is up with that. That's like the weird, and they're like, there's like no music, and it's like, it's not like a glitch in the, because I have one of the DVDs that whichever season that is, like, it's not like the glitch on Disney Plus. It's just like, Dad, trips to New York are $9. See? And it just says like 9/11 with the Twin Towers, like, for like awkwardly long.
Yeah, hold.
And it was from like 97 or something. I'm like, what is that? Did you know something? Ooh. Like, it's one of the more weird, because people like to say, the Simpsons predicted President Trump, and that I give them no credit for, because it's like, all you have to go is this country as stupid as we think it is? And if the answer is yes, you could have gone, well, I know this is going to happen. Like, we're going to eventually elect this guy president.
It was either him or Arnold.
And which would have been a good idea, so clearly we weren't going to do that.
Right.
Arnold gives a shit about, like, the environment and people and the country. Like, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a good man. It's no wonder they dragged his name through the mud for fucking the Maid. That's what they always do. They're like, I think everyone's having too much fun with Rammstein. Let's go, their singer fucks bitches at 60. And I go, I should hope to live so long.
Yes.
Or whatever. And I was like, but people shouldn't have sex. It's like, oh, well, not with you. But yeah, like Schwarzenegger, it's like, and there's that Bill Burr bit where he's like, he's been in the zone for 40 years. He moves here from another country, doesn't even speak English, becomes the #1 box office draw or whatever, becomes governor of a state he can't even pronounce. And he kicked ass at it.
He did.
And it's just the guy's worth so much money. They, for True Lies, they paid him in like a Harrier jump jet, like that Pepsi kid, except for it actually happened.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
the guy can't lose.
No, yeah, and they're just like, oh, you fucked the mate. We should have just waived the, like, we don't care that you're from Germany, and we see where this could go. But honestly, you'd be a better president than the reality show host guy that doesn't pay his employees and stuff. Like, Schwarzenegger pays his employees. He fucks some of them, but he pays them.
Yeah.
And that's what matters.
He pays well.
Could we all hope for anything better than getting it fucked and paid? I mean, fed, I guess? What else even is there? Donald Trump has never, like, he's fucked a few people, but he hasn't paid them. Certainly hasn't fed them.
Yeah, he's got an issue with that.
And Schwarzenegger's the kind of guy that you'd fuck for free, and he'll still give you a living wage. Like, it's like Trump's the kind of guy that would have to pay for sex and then would stiff the hooker. Like, that's fun.
Yeah.
But that's more like you hope
she smelled.
Yeah. You hope that that's like the fun dictator of some Central American country. You're like, oh, yeah, other places sure are a dump. But we figured we were better than that. We figured we were a Schwarzenegger type of place where some guy with abs fucks you and goes like, here's car fare. And something extra for you, get something nice. That's the kind of scum that I want running things.
Yes.
Scum that pays you. Right? Scum that's like the cool mafia guy that, like, the shoe shine kid, he throws him $100 in like 1970s money. He's like, you know what? Hey, you be 16 soon. Go get your first car. That's the kind that money came from beating someone to death. But that's the kind of piece of shit that I want in charge. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
Like if the military is all like kind of a like, it's just for profit. We should just tell people that and then cut them in.
Everybody can identify with this guy too.
Yeah, you want to drive a tank?
Everybody.
Because, Lockheed Martin's going to make a gazillion dollars off of, like, it's like, we cut you in on that. Buy yourself, like, a gold chain to drive. Yeah. I want a mobbed up military where everybody is on the take, and it's completely out in the open. There's no honor. There's no patriotic songs. It's like, hey, this country's got poppies and oil. You want in on that? And we're like, fuck yeah. It's like basic training's over. You go shoot those motherfuckers for me. We'll buy you a nice house. And that's it. We don't go like, well, it's to protect our freedom on the other side of the planet. No, it's to make money. And you know what? I'm not saying, as it is, I would never join the military, but I'm not saying I can't be bought.
I mean, we need poppies, dude.
Yeah. It's like, we're going to use these for OxyContin, and I tell you what, if you take over this field, we'll write you a prescription and look the other way for the rest of your life. How does that sound? Even if we don't get injured, everybody's going to get a truckload of these things when you're done.
Everybody wins.
And it's like, but what about the insurance costs? It's like, we'll just have them delivered to you. Don't tell your wife. Like, that's, that army? Hell yeah. And see, that's what I mean. We just want to be in on the scam. I think it's time to drop the act, but then let everybody in. Be like, insider trading. It's like, yeah, just pass a little of that on to the American people. It wouldn't take much.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to pay each and every one of you $10,000 to look the other way.
Well, I mean, most people don't fuck with trading anyway. Well,
Yeah, they don't even know what that is. They're like, why is this person in trouble?
Trading. But it's just like, if a guy wants to get out there and knows a guy that knows a lady that may or may not have some photos on a beach that,
We should, yeah. We should be operating. I want the thing I want for this country is for it to stay exactly as corrupt as it is, but then we all get cut in on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're just 300 million accomplices.
Perfect.
That is our new job. Like, that's the UBI. It's more of a sort of like, listen. We're gonna strip mine all of the fucking nickel. No, what are the new batteries? The car batteries? The
lithium? No.
Yeah, the lithium ion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, so here's the thing. I'll give you, matter of fact, let's vote on it. We'll even throw it out to the floor. Every American, we just have a general vote, no electoral college, just one person, one vote. We're like, you can keep going to work at fucking Speedway, or if you're cool with like just basically kind of invading, and it's not going to be a military thing. Actually, without this vote, it wouldn't even have made the news. It'd have been under the table. And we're going to go like blow up this thing that China owns so that we can strip mine this part of Africa instead of them. But we're going to cut you all in on a percentage. And honestly, you're going to be driving nicer cars. So, if you're against that, we're going to do it anyway and keep all the money and fuck you because, or if you're for it, we cut you all in. And you'll have people going like, well, I know it's happening either way, but my conscience will be like, this family votes to get paid the blood money rather than letting it just go. And they're like, all right. Like everybody gets $5,000 a month until the contract expires in 5 years. Now the blood's on all of our hands. It's like, it's like, when you accidentally kill a prostitute, but you pass the gun around the table and make everyone get their fingerprints and put a bullet in her, Like everyone puts a bullet in the chippy before we throw her in the trunk. That could be our whole country, right? Like every military invasion that we do for money, we just get cut in on it and then we all stop bitching. We're just like, I'm morally outraged that I am not profiting off of the war profiteering that's happening.
Agreed.
I live here. Where's my cut?
Billions, dude. It's in the billions.
Yeah. Where is my cut of this blood money? I will gladly go, I'm fine with this if I can drive a Tesla. Like, that's absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's really like that onus that it leads into what we were going to talk about too. We're talking about the old school glass trade and everything. And the reason we're getting into that and the reason Derek is here is because I want to documentize this eventually. Like I don't know if anyone would ever buy it, or if I just put it on YouTube and YouTube will go, this is a crackpot thing about drugs, we're not letting you do it. Or maybe Vice will pick it up. I wish Vice was still cool. Maybe Netflix, maybe something. Maybe it'll be on Tubi. Doesn't really matter. The story needs to be told. Yeah, but there's like a fun story of like, people don't understand that glassblowers, that just make like, they had to say for tobacco use only because it was like a crime. It was paraphernalia. But yet it was like it was like a weird gray area illicit business where people use fake names and all this other stuff. And there'd be like shootings and throwing bricks through windows of other businesses and stuff because like it was cartelish in a way because these things were sort of like whenever you run a business and you cannot file a lawsuit because it's not legal enough to technically exist, gunfire starts breaking out.
It was all clearly funded with illegal shit.
Well, that too. A lot of people that had
none of these things would have. It was all funded through whatever, mostly weed.
Yeah.
But, these things were, but it was just, there wasn't, just because there wasn't Wallies back then. There wasn't dudes with a ton of money that were just having legitimate places for this shit to happen. The weird thing
is, too, is like, he started with so little. Like, he had a grocery store where he started figuring, it's just like, I'm going to start.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, and this is, again, why I kind of want to make a documentary, because, like, my therapist, who used to sell me mushrooms before he was my therapist, and I kind of ambushed him with, I hadn't talked to him in a while, I just showed up at his office, and I won't use his name, but he's a great therapist. I graduated therapy because of him. But he told me about literally the crazy stuff you were talking about in that part of Uptown, and then I was like, oh, that's wild, and then I asked Wally, I'm like, hey, what? I heard this, what do you have any stories about that? And he's like, oh yeah, like it was just like, yeah, it used to be like, but I kind of got his whole thing where it's like you had a little grocery store across the street from a guy that had a glass place, and everyone came over to his grocery store for munchies, but then that guy put in a vending machine, and he was like, well, fuck you, I'll start selling glass stuff, and the whole thing spiraled out of control pretty much from that, which is like
created out of spite.
That is my favorite thing too. Anything that comes, that's why I'm so happy to work there. Like I have been the accessory to things that were done. I won't get specific, but like, it's like, can you do this? Because I want to do this just out of spite, and I'm like, I'm happy to help.
Yes.
Like I love a good spiteful business move. That is just so.
We know all about that.
It's incredible, and But yeah, like the story's kind of lined up. Hence the reason where it's like, damn, like, someday, and this drunken mess of a podcast, doesn't count. It's mostly just the thing.
This will get it moving for sure.
Because it'll force me. I'll be like, sure. I've started talking shit, and now it's like, oh, this has to become like a reality. But yeah, like the fascinating thing is that I did a comedy bit about how like pretty soon with like weed being legal in Minnesota and eventually everywhere, kids won't understand old 90s rap videos anymore because they'll be like, what are they so excited about? Did they go to the store? Like what is it? But it's true. Like it's almost, it'll be like 1920s prohibition tales. You know what I mean? Where it's like,
it will.
Where we hear about people were shooting Tommy guns out of at each other because of like booze. Like, oh, we're selling booze. Like, what, you mean that stuff you can get literally like anywhere, like any bar on the way home from work within walking distance of where I live somewhere. Like, there's a couple bars and like that doesn't make any sense. And like weed will be that. For some people, where the thing in Fear and Loathing where they drive by that sign that's like grass, a dime bag will get you 20 years. It's like it's legal in Nevada, way before here.
Yeah. Yep.
And I renew my we let like Missouri is like we should have not have been taking as long as like some of these grody states.
No, it was foolish.
It's embarrassing.
We should have been the first in like the entire North to go.
At least in the Midwest.
I mean. Yeah, we should have been absolutely first.
But that's what I always bitch at people when they're like, well, I'm not going to vote for the lesser of two evils. Like, but when you do that, sometimes you get weed. Sometimes kids get free school lunches. And sometimes I'm going to use this for the rest of my life when someone makes that dumbass argument. It's like, well, I don't want to. It's like, oh, cool. So you don't want people getting their shitty weed charges expunged, and you don't want like kids getting free lunches. Like, at school who can't afford it or whatever, and it's like it's not a 1-to-1 thing. It's like it 1,000,000,000% is. Like 100%. Waltz was like, as soon as we have the majority, 100%. Just get it to my desk and I'll make. We have Mr. Rogers as our governor. Yeah. Like that, guess that wouldn't have happened if you were like, I'm going to sit this one out and let some fucking like Republican nightmare just do this thing. Be like, well, I would prefer the libertarian guy. Like, oh, okay, so, but that won't happen, and now, like, women are getting rounded up in trucks. Yep. It's like, dude, no. But yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, it was by one vote that we got weed, too. Yeah. I was amazed that guy didn't mysteriously die in a plane crash like fucking Paul Wellstone. Like,
I mean, it's still early.
It is, well, it's too late now because the vote has, like, happened.
Yeah. And I mean, South Dakota went back on their nonsense. I mean, I guess I don't know all the whatever, but they've put it to vote and legalized it, and then their governor kind of came back on it or something.
He vetoed it or something?
It just, like, at least stalled it for I don't know what reason. More research.
Here's the thing, though. I'm evil, and so, like, what I would love is for the states on our borders, because of where we currently work, to never legalize it. So it'd be like, okay, we get, like, maybe, someday we get 3 dispensaries. It's like, let's not even put one in the city. Let's put one in, like, Winona, right outside of La Crosse. Let's put one in Moorhead right outside of Fargo. Let's put them out there and just be like, that's where everyone's going to, like, now who's driving where to get fireworks, bitch? Like, they all got to come to Minnesota.
I mean, when it went medical, there was only a few dispensaries in the state. And oddly enough, one of them was in my hometown. I have no idea why.
Where is your home?
Shout out Hibbing, Minnesota.
So you're from the Iron Range?
Yes.
Yeah.
So why there? I'm not sure.
Because they Derek, it's because they got used to being rich. Like those Iron Range,
I never knew. I still don't know why there.
I'm sure it's because there's like, I am oversimplifying this, and when I say I'm sure, I mean I'm making this up, but it might have been that like, okay, like we're used to this giant influx of money, but we're afraid of things like Detroit happening. What if the iron dries up? What if we don't use iron anymore? Whatever. It's like, okay, well then let's be like the one place where you can do this or whatever. Plus, people who are like, I'm sure there's ironworker unions and things like that, and it's like doing shit like that wrecks your body and does not give you the most long lifespan or whatever. So it's like, oh, give them medical weed. That'll help like kind of take the edge off of them going like, hey, we're doing a class action lawsuit because we like ruined our lives working for. Yeah, we got paid pretty good, but you became like a top hat billionaire off of this, and I'm having trouble standing at fucking 61, and so we'll have weed instead, and don't everybody get addicted to goddamn oxys, which some of us like that better than weed, but most people would just prefer weed if given the chance. So it's like let's avoid becoming West Virginia by opening a medical dispensary here.
I mean, maybe. You know, I
just made all that up, but
I mean, it's of all towns up there now, there's a town next to it, Virginia, thriving, doing great.
Played a gig in SMB up there once. Yes. It was lots of kids, lots of weird punk rock hot topic kids showed up to that shit.
The Iron Range is good for shout out Iron Range.
Yeah.
Again, I mean it's but Hibbing is just it's not the hub. It's not the hub of that place. Like Grand Rapids, Virginia, Hibbing, it's sort of in a line kind of, and this just kind of just as much, there's a Walmart, there's Targets, you know what I mean? There's not really much difference.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know. Hibbing's kind of off the main highway, Virginia's kind of, if you shoot up north from Duluth, just boop, you can just zing right to Virginia. And, Hibbing chose that, by the way, like back in the day when they were building that highway. Hibbing was, king shit, and they chose not to have the major highway come through town.
Interesting.
And stay to the east. So now when you drive up north from Duluth, you have to take another highway 20 miles east to get to Hibbing, whereas if they would have just done it,
that trip north is so like people that aren't from Minnesota and stuff like Duluth is like it is a border town. It borders on Superior, Wisconsin, which is another place that I played a lot of gigs in my old band SMB, because it's like Duluth itself, like we played like one show there and it sucked, but like right across that bridge, which is called the I-Bong Bridge or something
the Bong Bridge.
Yeah, the Bong Bridge.
The Bong Bridge.
Yeah. And we went over to like Superior has like more bars per capita than anywhere in the United States, like per capita.
Superior.
We used to play at this place.
In fact, just over the bridge, Superior, like you're talking about.
Oh yeah, there's a place called Norm's Beer and Brats. And
shout out Norm's.
Shout out Norm's. Oh yeah,
if it's still there, is my brother lives in Duluth. I should ask him.
Post pandemic, I don't know, but I'm glad you know about that, because like SMB would play. We drew there. Like we would actually have like people.
Nice.
Like I met a stripper that had like an on and off. Well, just a hookup thing forever that I would occasionally, like, not while we were, like, on tour, just drive up there when I had nothing to do on a 3-day weekend, million years ago, long before I met my wife, but, like, it was, like, a party. It was insane.
Yeah.
And, like, it, one time, but to put a bit of a frame around it, as far as how drunken it was. Now, I'm me, and we would, SMB played a lot of regional and larger tours with a band called Psycho Stick that had they were famous for a song about beer, and they were kind of like a funny metal band. Like they would like engage with the audience and do a lot of jokey stuff, and that was their shtick. And they have a thriving career to this day. Like they really like dialed it in, and they always do all these. They're on the festival circuit. They're just like they got it figured out. But we would play with them a lot because we were insane, and like they thought that was fun, and we would always go around. Blue Felix did too, honestly, weirdly, like apropos of nothing. They were like a weird middle of the Venn diagram of being a thing that we all knew each other. But so Psycho Stick played, and they like sold when we played with them at Norm's Beer and Brat once, and it was promoted really well, and it was basically for that place like sold out. It was like wall to wall people, and by the time Psycho Stick played, they would do all the things like, all right, everybody do this. All right, has this ever happened to you? We'll do it. And they go into a song. No one was paying attention to them. Like, it was like a packed, there's like 300, 400 people jammed in there.
That stinks, dude.
All the way up. Well, it was actually the funniest thing I've ever seen. They'd be like, we have never experienced this. Like people were like imagine like a movie where a band is like, yeah, like it's just packed to the gills. Like crazy, like, and people all the way up to the front. And they were just like so drunk that they couldn't focus on Psycho Stick playing. Like they were just like, they're like, who's ever done this before? And everyone's just like, yeah, man, I was in the Air Force. Like, there was like a guy like laying down by the stage. It's like the bar didn't care. Like, they were just like, you guys are too drunk to not only pay attention to a medal, you paid to see us. And they were like, oh, what?
Superior,
like, it was like
baby.
the funniest thing. And I was probably banging someone in the van. And like, yeah, it was just, but it was like, I think they were fine. They got paid. It was whatever. But it was like, they were like, we are a band that profits off of like drunken yahoos going, it's the beer metal guys. And everyone showed up and forgot why they were there.
Yeah.
Like,
I love this place.
like, who are you? Like, literally, like the amount of talking before like the teacher comes and like shuts everybody up or whatever. Like times, like it was like a loud, like a bar with no band at it. On a Friday, it's townies that all know each other from high school, just talking as loudly as they can, all to each other at once. And that's what it sounded like between every song. Like, you could barely hear what the singer was saying. It was like I was dying because I saw what was happening. And they came off stage, and were like, "What the fuck was that?" And that was Superior, Wisconsin, which is that's where the party is. Like,
I mean, port cities, man, they're all shit.
is that the thing?
Yes. Port cities are definitely...
Why in particular do you think that might be? That's just pirates. Just barge pirates. Just scurvy and hookers. And,
I mean, in a sense... That's, port cities, I think, they're all kind of trash, dude.
I guess why not? I mean, historically, yes.
Duluth, they're really trying to clean up, like Canal Park and all that. Like, they're really trying to make that area in, like, West Duluth-ish area.
Well, I drove up there to do that.
Like, where the hideaway is.
Yeah. Why
like that area, they're really trying to clean that up. It's like...
And it was a little scummy, though, like, because the radio... I drove up there. Shouts out to Peter Pepper, went with me. He was in town to keep me company. And like went to go record the radio commercial. And then like the radio station was like, when you walk down that street, you kind of went past the street you turn on from the freeway to the other side of it. And that's where like Pizza Luce's right there. The Hideaway's right there. Like, my thing was always like trying to push the idea that like, hey, you got, the Pizza Luce, the famous Minneapolis Institute. Now there's one up here, and it's like the Hideaway, the famous Minneapolis. Now there's one up here, like they're on the same big drag and everything.
Famous.
Well, yeah, but like that idea that some of these businesses that you've heard of forever, it's like now there's a Duluth one, like
yeah,
but they're all on the same
to get
road.
To that level.
Well, yeah, or at least make people think that that's what's happening because perception is belief, in reality is the next step, and
correct.
But yeah, it was like a nice day out, and it was walking distance from the radio thing. Went over there, but like we stepped over a few people hanging out on the sidewalk. Like they're trying. Is what I'm saying.
They are trying, and it stinks that so many of those businesses got abandoned. Like the whole. I mean, Superior Street, I think it is.
Yeah, it is Superior Street too, but in Duluth, not the.
I have to get up there again. My brother lives there. He could definitely tell us like what the hell's going on with like this area and this area of the city. He lives in Lakeside or something, which there's weird like neighborhood like they lived in a dry neighborhood or some shit. Like there's some weird shit in Duluth. Like
that is yeah. Well,
it just switched over, and then I was all of a sudden there's like this cool neighborhood liquor store. That pretty much should have always been there.
Yeah,
for the last 100
you would have
years,
thought that would have.
You know what I mean? Like, but yeah. So like that's it's very strange. Very strange.
It's interesting. Well, because when like Peter's like a real estate guy, and we were up there. He was like looking up like the average GDP of like Duluth or whatever, and it was like maybe the mean income or whatever. And it's just he was like, yeah, it is like a little bit lower. I mean, everything's cheaper here, but it's like kind of like lower income in a weird way. Like it's like this famous city kind of, but it's like smaller and like not as much of a, as you'd expect. And it was kind of fun too, because he was like looking up the average thing of like the Twin Cities. He's like, wow, the average income here is like, it's from Florida. It's like, it's kind of a lot. I'm like, yeah, we're a nice state, Peter. We're in the big city in the nice state. But like the interesting conversation we had while we were like waiting for the radio guy, we were like sitting in the car, and like I was like, there's like a pathway to doing good here, and it's so much more weirdly corporate. It's so much more weirdly like go to college and then go to 3M or something.
Oh, big time.
In Florida, it's like start flipping monster trucks, and like there's no goddamn limit on how much you can do that with zero license or whatever. It's like like there's schemes to be had, but the reason that the mean or whatever like income level in all the cities are so low is because it's like, well, yeah, you can like scheme your way to a dream, but here it's like you kind of have to do it on rails a little bit. Like we have this interesting comparison to where we both live, where he's like, you're a pretty smart guy. I'm like, yeah, but I can't do, like, again, me and my buddy Ben were flipping like we had a scheme and then we hit the wall of permits or whatever.
Right.
We were like, people would take a Prius
Now
that
what?
Blue Books for 12, 15 grand, but they're, well, the battery's broken and the dealership says it'll be $5,000 to fix, so I'm just going to get rid of it for like $1,000, but really the batteries were like $700 and we could just do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And we would like flip these cars, but it's like, okay, each one of us does it
4 times
6
a year
times or
yeah.
something. Yeah, like, and we're going to go to prison. And I was like telling it to Peter, he's like, what? There's no cap on that here. He's like, well, could you just get a permit? I'm like, yeah, but to get the permit, I have to prove that I own enough land to have a car lot on, which by then I'm not making any money anymore. And like, that's what Minnesota is, where it's like, I think I just, oops, nope, you can't, or whatever. So you know what you do? You just go into debt going to school, and you get a job working for like Fingerhut or 3M or Best Buy corporate or Target corporate or some bullshit, or Medtronic probably, and like whatever, and you just do that, and you move up, and then maybe you buy part of another company. But like, that's your thing. It's so clean and white collar and weird, which I kind of like, because I like scum, but I don't like to be around it. I like to hear about it. I like to be the grossest guy.
I like to thrive amongst the scum, but I don't like to go home to it.
Exactly correct. Yeah, and as I
like to go home.
Like, I want to be.
Really, wow, we're really. This is.
It's true though. I like to be the grodiest guy in the room because everyone else in the room is like.
This is podcast gold.
Really blue blood rich people, and I'm like the wacky crazy guy they know, and I'm not because I'm snorting heroin off of someone's dick, but just because I'm like a little rough around the edges. And they're like, "Oh, look at you! You're the fun guy in this world of like everyone is taken care of forever." And like, "Well, you're cool." Like, rather than being like, "I'm the king of the swamp," which is kind of like. You're going to get taken out by another person who wants to be the king of the swamp. I don't want all that. I want to live in a really upscale thing and be a little weird, but everyone loves it. That's my thing.
Right.
And that's where we are. That's kind of what you can do.
Yeah. That's I've reached fucking level 99. Like, I can't fucking upgrade my character anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Well, and it's like what have both of us done? We've turned our actual, like, we're not flipping real estate. We're not, like investing in someone's pyramid scheme. Like, we're two people that have taken our actual sort of interesting talents and charismas and just turned them into like again, like the whole reason that the documentary thing would be interesting is it goes from illicit to like, oh, you have a retirement plan and health insurance through this like actual company fully above board where you do the thing that you're good at for like a living in a very normal, no gunfire type of way. And it feels like that should be impossible. And yet here's one of the only places where it probably is possible. And it's like our exact life trajectories, would they even be possible one state over in Wisconsin? I don't know.
I mean, maybe in whenever they start to go fully legal, I bet you there's probably a story of some dudes that have been blown glass for maybe a hell of a long time, just like us that haven't. It's like, oh. But
Minnesota's like a nice state, though. That's the thing. Like, it's for as famous as we got after 2020 for some stuff. We're still kind of this upscale.
What stuff do you do?
I don't know. is some unpleasantness. But the thing is that like I always call it's like the sapphire jewel of the North, where there's like blue state where people actually like have all of these like huge, thoughtful. Like a buddy of mine's dad is a guy that invented things for like like not manufactured. He's like an inventor. He's literally a mad scientist that makes medical things that he's like retired off of and bought all this land. And
So
it's like,
he's the guy that draws the schematic and gives the schematic to the guy that draws.
he machines it though. No. He actually.
Oh, he's the guy that.
I don't want to name real super names for this, but
Please
like
don't.
I will have. Again, like my buddy, he was on the old version of the podcast more than once on a Rum Dumpster, but like. And I will have him come and do this one, but his father, like he's got like all this land, like 2 hours north, straight up 65, like way just in the nowhere,
Yep.
and he has like logging, like 140 acres, and he lets it out to logging companies or whatever, and he makes tons of money off it. But he has buildings on it, and they're just these like ramshackle barns, but like one of them you open it up and it's like fucking portal or something. Like you like it's this like stainless steel. There's like all these like machines and things in there that looks like it's in a chicken coop almost, like because he still dabbles.
Was it like an old workshop or something? Like,
well, he still dabbles in it, and that's the thing. He literally like schematics all the way to prototype invented shit. It's how he was able to buy.
So it's his fucking
150 acres of land.
So it's his like, God, who's got a sick evil lair?
Well, yeah, no, it is like that. And again,
Fortress of Doom
they have chickens and they have like all this Legion of Doom. They have all this stuff, but it's like some of them, they just look like these like dirty farm buildings, and then inside is just like, I'm still contracted. I'm kind of working on. Hey, John. Hey, buddy. Like, you're friends with my son. Let me show you something. Like, it's just like a laser that does MRIs, or like it's just like fucking crazy.
Come into this barn. Oh, big steel door.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, and on the inside, it's just like, you're like, wait, whoa. What? And he's like, yeah, I'm retired, but I have ideas. And he's just showing me all this. He's like this old biker dude that just is like a crazy inventor. Yeah. Like where Pee-wee's bike is kept, It's like, that's, but like.
R.I.P.
But that's the thing, though. Like, he was able to make a hugely equitable career because we have those industries here. You have to move to, like, Silicon Valley or whatever. He's just like inventing like medical devices and stuff that he was like contracted for these people. Like, it feels like a military, almost like a stealth bomber, but just things that could like detect cancer and like whatever the fuck. He's just
Tesla
one of those
shit, just literally in his fucking house.
Yeah, one of those people that's you can. I think. And my larger point with all this is like in somewhere like Florida. You can turn being a little sharp and a little shrewd and having no morals into like a bunch of money. Here, the barrier to entry is a little higher, but you can turn being an actual, like there's a lot of places where being an actual genius doesn't help you. It might hurt you. Like I've always said, what is the point of being the one cow in the fucking slaughterhouse that can talk?
Yeah.
Like the farmer's like, well, it's not really worth. The other cows don't understand you. It's like, okay, great. You just know that you're fucked more.
Yes.
So like, but here it kind of matters a little bit. You're like, okay, that dude being like an actual like inventive genius is like, well, there's roads to like turning that into like unbelievable amounts of money. The kind that could buy you tracts of land that you're, generational wealth, that kind of thing.
Right.
And it's interesting because it's like I feel like if I had been born in Mississippi and then never moved or anything, it's just like, would I have a job with like a retirement plan and health insurance just being a creative nutcase for somebody? And it's like, I didn't even turn in a resume. Would you? Like we live in this sort of a magical place, and I feel like maybe perhaps that is why telling the story of like the underground part of the 90s paraphernalia glass world that stretches all the way to like it's just a normal ass boring 9 to 5 fun one, but like an unremarkably just sort of like like no drive-bys today. There haven't been any in years. Like it's just a normal like anything else anyone would do, but it just happens to be tinged with this weird history of mayhem and craziness and violence and and crime and stuff like that.
Here I go. Here I go to work.
Yeah, which is like positive because we're both too goddamn old for just, like, all right, like we're gonna go fuck these guys up. It's like, can I just please just go to work in the morning and not give a shit about all of this? And that's the way it is in reality, which is great. But there's just, I don't know that there's another thing, another industry, even a small cottage type of industry or whatever, that shares that. It went from like people like planting bombs in each other's goddamn facilities, but it's the same exact thing to now. It's just like, okay, yep, that's just that's my corporate job, like whatever. In less than a lifetime.
Yep.
From when 100%. I was a teenager to like me barely, being in my early 40s, like it went from like this terrifying, don't get involved with that, to like, oh well, you're doing really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like barely 20 years.
Yep. From tiptoeing around, just, what do you do? Oh, what's like,
Oh, I'm an artist.
What do you say?
What does that mean?
What do you say? You got some suit.
Yeah.
Or just somebody you may want to impress. Somebody you may want to just be like, well, whatever. A girlfriend's fucking dad.
Yeah.
What do you do? I make bongs.
Yeah. That was what Ty said to me on the first day when I was wearing casual, but I wear suit clothes in fall weather. And he's like, bro, we make like bongs here. And I'm like, I just like to dress like this. I'm not trying to impress anybody. Right?
I mean, so it's just, it's gone from trying to come up with the most like, well, I'm you can call it lamp working, like the type of glass blowing that we do. Technically, you can call it lamp working.
What is lamp working?
So I just like, I'm a fucking lamp worker, dude.
But what is that?
That's exactly what people say. Well, what's that? It's like,
right.
Well, I'm a glass blower. Oh, really?
You make lighthouses? So
like that, that stuff that I see on Channel 2 with the whole it's like, nah, I make bongs, dude.
Yeah.
It trickles this way down. So,
right.
But now it's just like, what do you do?
It's like, I make
I'm a
pipes
glass blower, dude.
Well, yeah, hold that thing up that you've been smoking out of a little bit too, by the way, because you were saying that that was one of the first ones that.
So this is from we had a shop-wide flame-off during Art of Whirl in 2015, I think it was. And I had the idea of making myself a glass gentleman's kit, including like a Sherlock pipe, little smaller than this, more like a traditional style.
Yeah.
Tobacco
that looks like a saxophone that Bowser from Super Mario would play.
For sure.
And fire would shoot out of it, and he would try to do that to impress Princess Peach.
Of course.
Which I really like about it.
Damn you, Princess Peach.
Yeah.
So this gentleman's kit, that was like a flask and a frickin' Sherlock and some cufflinks and I think like a frickin' envelope opener or something looking like a knife, or it's just some gentleman's bullshit.
I still want a glass spy kit.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean it's
like a knife.
It's
and
definitely something I've been meaning to revise.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the first time I've even used it. So it's what, 2015 to what is it?
2023, 8 years. 8 years.
8 years old. Cheers.
Yeah, live on this ridiculous podcast. Well, it's perfect timing because now we're 53 minutes in, and usually at 50 or so, we get to Dear Asshole. Which, I think Derek has seen the podcast and heard it enough to not have to have me explain it, and I won't explain it to the likes of you, whoever's listening. By the way, I just love that Dear Asshole is still my pen. I didn't do this. Someone wrote Dear Asshole is still my penis. Like, I think my wife wrote that in there. And just like, I looked at it once. Dear asshole landlord, that was one of the first times that they actually were punching up rather than down. So now we're at Dear Asshole at the Laundromat.
The laundromat.
Which, these people, there's no way that they've been to a laundromat. This is an ancient memory of, like, when their parents forced them to go get an apartment that they probably paid for. But then they're like, oh, go to the laundromat. Yeah, at college.
Right.
Yeah, to be a writer, to make this fucking garbage. Yeah.
So it's just some other student that offended you or something.
I just don't even know.
Let's see.
There's nothing more disappointing than when Chris suggested this was written by AI, and I'm like, I love it. And then I went and looked, and the book is from 2011, so there's no way that was possible. Right. And I'm like, God damn it. I have to go back to assuming that humans with absolutely no creativity or drive somehow made this book, and it came out. And again, like I've said before, I think this actually came from like another worse timeline, and it just intersected with ours. It is actually, like, honestly, I've exhausted every avenue that it's the only way. It's just a horrible thing that if I read it all the way to the end, like, the seventh seal gets opened and Jesus comes back and kills us all. Whatever, like, but I'm going to do it because I feel compelled to. Maybe I am an agent of the Lord, and I'm here to usher in the end times, and that is my purpose, and that's fine, and I'm going to do it with Dear Asshole.
We must burn this book.
Whoa, when it's done. I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing when I'm done. I'm probably, like, I can't even, I don't even, like, I feel like the best thing to do would just be, like, to just, like, sit like Hunter Thompson and just, like, blow holes through it until there's, like, nothing left. Probably something bigger than that, but, like, I don't know. Like, it deserves to be, like, shot. Because you burn the American flag if it's no longer.
That's true.
It's almost honorable, like when they burn Darth Vader at the end. It's like this book doesn't. This book deserves to have like me, just push one of my shotguns into it, and then like with my dick hanging out, just keep pulling the trigger till the thing just blows to pieces. Like. Something. Run it over with my lawnmower. Like, it shouldn't... It does not get the honorable Viking funeral.
No Viking funeral for you.
No, you're a horrible thing, and I will send you back to hell in the way that I choose. Dear Asshole at the Laundromat. In case you didn't get the memo... Oh, gosh. Oh. This isn't a storage facility. Oh, my God! They're not even bitching about when, someone else takes your laundry out, which understandably is an overreach. Okay. They're more like, don't leave your stuff laying around. It looks cluttered in this hellhole basement.
And you're not even around. Where are you?
It's a laundromat. You don't get to leave your nasty clothes rotting in the washing machine for 3 hours while you take care of your children, you poor person. I added that in. No, sorry. While you're off gallivanting around town. Gallivanting around town. How hilarious. So look, one of the new things that I like pointing out with this is everywhere where there could have and should have been a joke, and there's not. Like Meredith and I punched one up in like a minute and a half, like 90 seconds. We're like, what if instead of this, they were like, blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, that's funny. We spent 0 time on it. And these people are like professional bloggers and website, right? Comedy. And it's like, while you're off gallivanting around town, okay, you sat and thought with your writing partner and possibly some other people for any amount of time at all. I mean, not an hour, maybe 3 minutes. And that's the best thing.
Nobody under 60 says gallivanting around town.
And it's just not, it's not even.
They came up with that at the book club, dude.
Well, yeah, it's like you can't leave your clothes rotting in the washing machine while, you attend a cockfight. Like, just anything that's funny. Like, that's just nothing off the top of my head. That's not that funny, but it's just anything. Like, literally, if you were writing something and you were like, okay, we just have to put a placeholder there, right? Like, put gallivanting around town. We'll punch it up later. We'll have the writers. We'll have like a 5-person writing room. Like, gallivanting around town. Okay. Give me 20 different punchlines by tomorrow at lunch. Like while you're off, getting a hand job massage or fuck it. It doesn't matter. Just give me 20 or 30 of them. We'll pick one. Gallivanting around town is like, we just put it there so we could, write the whole page. And then we underlined it in red pen and we're like, okay, it's your job to just put something else there that's actually like a punchline that makes John or Derek or Alexis or Meredith or someone go, oh, that's kind of funny. Like, right.
It stays.
This is just what's there. And you're like, nope, we're just leaving that in.
It stays.
Yeah, gallivanting around town. Well, that's funny to someone that's 93 years old. Like, oh, yeah, my first husband, Eugene, used to gallivant around town. And he would visit hookers, and it's like, you know what? While you're visiting hookers, anything, even that old lady's idea was better. God, it's the worst. Anyway, okay. So when the machine cycle ends, get your belongings out of my way. Funny shit.
Because there's no other machines.
Oh, because guess why, though? Here's what they go on to explain. I need to wash my clothes, too. And there's no way in hell I'm touching your intimate apparel. And see, that also smacks of, there's no way I'm touching your clothes. And they're like, what's funnier? How about intimate apparel? Well, that sucks. Keep working on it. We're out of time. Yeah. Well, it's going in the book then, I guess.
It stays.
I guess that's the funny part. Instead of clothes, it said intimate apparel. Because you know what that means? They're probably talking about underwear. Oh, and they've got some brownie stains in them. Anything. Okay. So, there's no way I'm touching your intimate apparel without wearing a full body condom.
Oh, for fuck.
Those aren't real. And also, yeah, again, literally anything. It feels like they just left every placeholder in the writing room in, there's no way I'm going in there without, like a radiation suit they used in Chernobyl or something fun, anything relatable, funny. Full body condom's not a thing.
No.
Like, what if they made one? It's like
kind of funny to see, I guess, in a laundromat.
Well, and there was like some movie, like Scary Movie or something, where the two people, it was like during the height of the straight white people get AIDS movement, which is not true. Where they were like wearing like full body condoms. Like, this is what sex is going to be like. And then everyone found out, oh, this only affects like poor communities of color, and everyone went, phew, that's, rather than going, well, that's a big problem, we should still solve it. It was like, well, phew, that's not us.
Yeah,
and everyone went back to not using condoms, including me, but whatever, like, the point is, but I still care.
No one cares. No one cares about that.
It's just like, well, yeah, this is so terrible that this affects not even anyone that I would ever have sex with, and I'm going to get right on, and then I trailed off and just fucked a bunch of people. Like, yeah, it doesn't. Look, I wish I was part of the solution, but at least I'm a funny part of the problem. Like, it's better than this book.
Yeah.
Like Derek and I are making society better in a way by making it sillier and helping people get drugs. You know, what else can you do? You're doing less than we are. All of you be like, well, but I'm complaining about something more important on the internet. And it's like, but we're actually doing stuff. It's like, yeah, but all you're doing is making the world a sillier place filled with more drugs. And it's like, that's more than you're doing. And it always will be. You will do nothing forever until you die and everyone forgets you. Anyway, and by the way, that's a laundry cart, not an ottoman. The Ottoman Empire. Oh, the thing you put your feet on. Oh yeah. I thought they were going to try to take over Germany in the late 1800s. But anyway, get your fat ass off it so people can transport their wet laundry. Who sits on the laundry cart? That's not real. These people have never been in a public laundromat ever. You just fall in.
So what I'm visualizing is these, like, I mean, this has got to be from, like, I mean, this is from, like, when I was a kid. Like, I'm visualizing these fucking laundry carts that they were just a square, basically, on wheels, kind of high. So, yeah, you could.
But you would tip right over.
Yeah, what? These people got to be geezed up.
These are not, well, they might be old, but I know, okay. So my theory just that it comes from such a place of privilege that they're like cosplaying as the kind of people that ever have to go to a normal grocery store or a laundromat. Like, it's like that, you want to be like common people. You want to do what common people do. That William Shatner covered with Ben Folds. You ever hear that?
No.
Do you know the original song I'm talking about, though? You want to be like common people? It was like this 80s song about this guy. He's like a poor college student, and he kind of picks up a rich chick, and it's like, he's like, you don't get. It's pretty cool, but well, okay. The better part of it though is that It's sort of this like semi-80s hit, kind of Britpop, new wave, But then William Shatner put out this record called Has Been, where Ben Folds from the Ben Folds 5 made all the music, and there's like a bunch of covers, and he just talks over it. And it's like, the Ben Folds, like the music in the background's like, you wanna be like, and he's like, but just over the top, it's like, you wanna be like common people. You want to be like common people like me? Well, I don't see anyone else smiling in here.
You can find
we'll listen to it when this is done. Oh my God, yes. And it's so great. I showed Rebecca the other day, and she was like, that was fucking awesome. Like, yeah. We'll listen to it, just to avoid copyright, stuff. But like, yeah, it feels like that, where these people are cosplaying as anyone that's ever been to a laundromat. The fuck they have. They saw someone on like a show like New Girl go to a laundromat once, and then they wrote like this funny thing about, like, it's not real. They're not funny. This book is a tome of nightmares from another dimension that I just hate with every fiber. And there's so many more pages, and shooting it is too much. If I could dip this thing, I'm going to fly to Pripyat and just throw it into the most radioactive lake that I can. You know what? I'm gonna spend. This thing should rot in a lake that's full of currently radioactive stuff, but also just killed so many people back in the day that it's so haunted that it's like it would be like picking up the lid of the Ark of the Covenant, just stuffing it in real quick and slamming it. It's like, yeah, just before the ghosts come out. It's like that's where this goes.
Only a couple people melt.
Yeah, like you want to be careful, but it's like this thing. I don't know how. How do you give a novelty book a fate worse than death? Like something, like someday in some recovered, off-world Bob Lazar technology, they'll figure out a way to like alter the timeline in a small amount of space, and I will like put this book inside it and just like turn the dial to like this never was. So this podcast will be like a Mandela effect. They'll be like, you're holding up, like, I'll just be doing this. Like, what are you even talking about? Like, it'll be like Back to the Future. It'll just fade out of the picture. Like, that is what this thing deserves. And, yeah. So, anyway, by the way, it's a laundry cart, not an ottoman. Get your fat ass off of it so people can transport their wet laundry. Get a clue. Oh. P.S. Your whites look really dingy. Ever hear of bleach? Right. That's the racist part.
Yeah,
like, your whites look dingy. Right. Well, anyway, so, hey, by the way, Derek, if you're ever wondering, there it is. Sometimes Alexis plays the drums for us, but she's probably... she might be laying down by now. But anyway, so yeah, like, look, this entire thing was an effort to go to force me and to you to help me make a Netflix ready documentary about the bizarre, and we didn't even really get into it that much, which is kind of like great. Like we touched and skimmed along it because I think like the real deep dive of the stories and stuff of the bizarre illegality of just blowing a glass thing that may or may not be used for drugs, which is also, by the way, wild. Like, oh, it's a decorative glass thing. Yeah. You could smoke weed out of it, but it's like you could smoke tobacco out of it, which nobody does.
Yeah, we could do an hour just on that for sure.
Yeah, or like or opium. Something even worse, maybe. Right. But it doesn't matter. It's like you could smoke weed out of an apple core or a pop can, or like hollow out a cigar. Those aren't illegal. Like you could literally, like, there's jokes in movies about MacGyver, like Half Baked. It's like you can smoke weed. Like, fuck, if I had like, or I have a few of those like barbecue lighter things, I could just like light a pile of weed on the table on fire and just and just like get a little high off that. It's like, what, are tables going to be illegal? Like, yeah, it's the stupidest fucking thing that paraphernalia. It's like you could shoot up heroin with a syringe. It's like, oh, so like doctors can't use them? Like insulin's not a thing? Like laws?
Yeah.
Look, I don't want to live in a lawless society, right? And I've said this a lot of times because like everyone that thinks they want to do that would immediately get strapped to the front of a goddamn Mad Max Nitro truck, and you better believe they're not going to use your pronouns. Like, it's just, okay, like, I get what you want, but it's insane. I was 19 once too. My ideas back then weren't good. Thank God there was no social media back then. But like, yeah. It's like, it wouldn't look great, but it I like there being laws, and I like them being. I don't want different laws for different people because that's what fascism is. You know, it's like when Chris talks to Kyle and he's like, "Hey, you know, I want that cheap flat screen on Black Friday, but I also want to bring more jobs back to America." Well, both of those things are not possible at once. But the answer to that is, well, what if there was maybe 2 different kinds of people? And, you know, that's an idea that you can have, but I'm like, I want the same rules for everybody, just knowing that a lot of people are stupid and I can wriggle my way out of these rules. And, you know, but they're kind of just for everyone, you know, and someday I hope people get smart enough to be able to break the rules themselves and commit all kinds of fraud. But as it stands, there's super, like, I don't know, what is that, asymmetric and just kind of like, okay, well, this rule only applies for, well, a glass piece that's like blue and orange and colorful. Like, well, that has to be for smoking weed. You people are all criminals. But then it's like people who make tinfoil and straws aren't getting in trouble because you can like smoke foilies of heroin off of them or whatever.
That's
like,
right. This is a vase.
It is. And honestly, you don't need you can turn a regular vase into a bong, and you can grow flowers in a real bong. Which is proof that just nothing matters and nothing is real. Earth is hell, and you should do whatever you want forever. Amen.
The Reverend John Wheeler podcast takes zero responsibility for the words, actions, or ideas of its host, guests, or listeners. Though the people on the screen may at times be speaking directly to you and may occasionally give you direct calls to action, neither Reverend John nor the Alchemical Cocktail Lounge are under any moral or legal obligation to answer for the potentially disastrous repercussions that may arise if you are stupid enough to actually follow the orders of a raving lunatic. Think for yourself and do whatever you want, because you're on your own. If anyone ever tries to sue this podcast, black SUVs will converge on your location in the darkness of night and you will never be seen again. Remember to like and subscribe.